What's up, guys? I know I'm late, but before September's over, I still want to get a September Oscar prediction video out. The reason why it's so late is because it has been going back and forth. I've been changing things. Now that the festivals are going and everything, it is nonstop. We had a movie that entered the list that was new. It already dropped out. We'll get into that when we talk about Best Picture, but this is for September. It's definitely going to change within next week once October starts because more and more festivals, more movies are coming out. So things are either joining the list or falling off the list. So let's get into it. Okay, Best Picture, I have Anora, The Brutalist, Amelia Perez, Conclave, Dune Part 2, The Nickel Boys, Blitz, Sing Sing, Saturday Night, and A Complete Unknown. Last month, I had Sing Sing number 2, and it's slowly falling off the list. I think A24 really botched this movie. Premiered at TIFF last year. A24 picked it up, but waited till this year to release it. And I think that mixed with the terrible rollout that they did, it was like it was supposed to do limited and then grow and grow and grow, and it just like stopped at a certain point. Obviously, starting now to Oscars, they're going to start pushing it more. But is it too late? I think it might be. For picture, I still think the acting is going to be locked in there. Maybe not winning anymore, but it's still going to be locked. I am putting in Nora at number one. Every festival it's been at, it has been like literally received only positively. No one ever says anything bad about it. That they're saying even like though it's over the top with like sex and all that, it still plays well for like the older voters that are going to be there. So I am putting a lot of my faith, mostly. I mean, there's really the only thing that can maybe top it unless something else comes, but the only thing I can see kind of beating it at put the number one to the number one spot is The Brutalist. The Brutalist I had I didn't even have it on here last month. Because I had it in like a few categories because it was just kind of getting talked about last month. But it premiered, it blew everyone's socks off. It literally saying it's like this epic, sweeping, epic movie that like it is from the past, almost like a Godfather and like a huge epic made for $10 million. And it's really done well, and it's 3.5 hours, and it's an intermission, and there's an overture. So it's like really like it's like those movies that are about film that everyone loves and falls in love with, but instead of it being about film, it's just like the handling of the film to make it kind of like for days in the past were like the things that people like loved about film back then. And I think that's really gonna help it as well as it just being an amazing movie. I truly think this could be like an Oppenheimer of this year, getting a lot of awards, and we'll get into that in a sec. Um, Amelia Perez, I think this is the foreign film that is going to be in there. If there's more, it's going to be more, but this is the one that's definitely going to be in. People I like Anora and like The Brutalist. It's getting a lot of good reviews. There are mixed reviews about it for some people, but mostly it's positive. And there's always a movie that might not be like 100 on Rotten Tomatoes that still gets in. You know what I'm saying? Like Joker, Don't Look Up. Those all had like either very almost rotten or rotten reviews. Conclave. Conclave at one point I thought was going to be number one, but hearing about it, I hear it's a very good movie, but it's much more sillier than people are saying, and I just don't know how that's gonna work for the Academy. Dune Part Two is Dune Part Two, like that is gonna get nominated definitely. Let's just see like what it can win, and is it gonna win the same ones it won last time around, Dune Part One, or is it gonna lose because it already won these awards? So that's gonna be something to look at. The Nickel Boys, they're saying it's so experimental that it's like in the first person POV that it's very different. So I just don't know. I think if everyone loves it, it's gonna get a lot of stuff. But if it's only middling where people are liking it but they didn't love it, it might get like best picture and some other stuff along the way for like a good package. The Blitz, I was nervous about Blitz, and now that I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked pretty good. I don't think it's gonna be Steve McQueen's best thing, but I still think it might. It's a war movie, and I feel like the Academy loves war movies. They're like, another war movie, sure, sign me up. And while The Brutalist technically is like a post-war movie, it's different. This is like during the war, so I think that's why there could be room for both of them. Sing Sing, like I said, kind of fell off because I just don't think they're pushing it. I don't think they did anything well for this movie, which makes me nervous that A24 now has The Brutalist and Queer and Baby Girl. They have a lot of movies that I just like. A24 before Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't known for their amazing campaigns for the Oscars. Then Everything Everywhere All at Once came around. They did a really good job. They got it to win Best Picture, and I just am nervous that they're gonna go back to the old A24 with their campaign style. Like I feel like if they were doing the Everything Ever All at Once campaign, like the people that really pushed it, like even like Civil War could have got in there. But I'm not in Best Picture, but just in general. And I think because there's just too much that like now Civil War is falling off, and I think things are gonna fall off because you can't promote everything equally. There's always that one movie that they want to push, and I think it's gonna be The Brutalist, but we'll have to wait and see. Saturday Night, I was hesitant to put it in the top 10. I had it. I was good. I for a while I had it until it screened at TIFF and Telluride, like in the bottom half of my like 11 through 20. But everyone's saying it's such a good movie and such a feel good crowd pleaser that I can see this being like the crowd pleaser of this year. And then there's A Complete Unknown, but truly anything from 11 to 20 can kind of fill that spot. I think James Mangold has a good reputation for Oscars, though it could happen. Ford v Ferrari, Johnny Cash movie, all that kind of stuff. But then there's Gladiator 2, there's A Real Pain, there's Joker Folio Do, there's The Substance that is a really long shot, but I think there is this kind of like I can see like a grassroots campaign and a very like online campaign that turns into a real campaign with like other like with the studio. If they capture this momentum and do something with it, I feel like The Substance can definitely get makeup, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But maybe like actress, maybe screenplay, maybe it could be picture. Is it too weird for picture? I don't know, but everyone's loving this movie. It's a great movie. So if they just play their cards right with like taking this momentum, they could go far with it, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a long shot. The Piano Lesson, Room Next Door, See the Sacred Fig, Night Bitch, Challengers, Queer. Queer really dropped off because it's kind of mixed. People are liking it, but they're saying I don't hear as much of a praise for it as Challengers did, and Challengers really isn't high up on my list, so I can't put it higher than that. I thought Challengers were going to help Queer, but I think people are liking Challengers better, and like if Challengers doesn't get anything, Queer's not going to get anything, so we'll see. Um, yeah, everything has, except for Gladiator, all this stuff has, I think, either been at a festival or Complete Unknown, Gladiator 2 are the only ones that haven't been seen by anyone. Joker Folio Do. This could be the one that also, like I said, like there's the one that people don't love but still gets nominated. Could be in there. It's just getting very mixed reviews. But the first one got mixed reviews too, so like I feel like once it comes out to the public, that is a better description because if the public doesn't like it either and the critics don't like it, it's kind of dead on arrival. But we'll have to see. Like I feel like I can get some text, but now that like I had it in a lot of stuff, and I think I've taken it out at least and put it in like the 5 through 10 spot because I just don't know if like they're gonna be kind of like taking a step back from Joker because they loved it so much with the first one that they're like, I don't know if we want to do the same because it's not at the same caliber, according to people who saw it. So I've seen some people say like The Craft is just as good and they like the movie. I've seen some people say that it was so boring they wanted to fall asleep. So it's the Joker's I think it's not gonna happen, but crazy things have happened at the Oscars. So that's why like I kind of have it towards the bottom because I'm like I could see a surprise Joker thing where they just like came out of nowhere. So the new movie that I mentioned before that was in the list was Life of Chuck. It was a Mike Flanagan film. It won the People's Choice of TIFF, and I think for like the last 10 years, the People's Choice winner has been at least nominated for Best Picture. So everyone threw it in there. I threw it in there. I put it like number one for adapted and stuff like that. I mean, you had American Fiction, The Fablemans, Belfast, Nomadland, Jojo Rabbit, Green Book, Three Billboards, La La Land, Room, Imitation Game, 12 Years a Slave, Silver Linings Playbook, King's Speech, Slumdog Millionaire, Precious. All of these were People's Choice, TIFF's People's Choice winners, got nominated. Some of them even won. So I assume Life of Chuck automatically in there. But then it just was released that Neon bought the rights to the film, and they're releasing it in summer 2025, and then they're going to push for a fall like campaign next year. I don't know why you would do that. I feel like that's a very stupid idea because it has the momentum. I think it's going to become another Sing Sing next year where everyone's going to be predicting it in the beginning because there's nothing else really to predict. And as the year goes on, more movies come out, it slowly gets to the list, and it might either be at number 10, it might get nominated, or it falls off the list. And I'm surprised from Neon, to be honest with you. I thought they would push that, but maybe because they have Honora, they have See the Sacred Fig, they already have some of their movies. I think they're smart because they don't want to release a lot, and I get that, and only focus on the few. But you had the momentum, and that just drives me insane because it would have been nominated for Best Picture. it probably would have been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, and you probably might have gotten it more. So I just think that was a bad call. So next year we know what everyone's number one movie is going to be predicting. It would have been interesting to see what it done this year, because that was a movie that no one had on their radar, and all of a sudden it was on everyone's radar, and then they're just saying, no thanks, we'll wait till next year. Hopefully you'll still be interested. I don't know. Best Director: The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Honora, Emilia Perez, and Blitz. I think The Brutalist is winning this. I think, from what I hear Brady Corbett did, it's incredible. And for under $10 million, I think this is a really good narrative for him to win. I just think Denis Villeneuve was snubbed. I think this was his year maybe get nominated, even win. But now The Brutalist is a huge epic as well, and it's just in a different way, and people are going crazy for it. But Dune is still in presence in festivals and stuff like that, so never count anything out. Honora, like I said, I think Honora's winning, so obviously Sean Baker's going to be here. Could there be an upset with Sean Baker winning? 100%. Emilia Perez, lately they've been nominated the foreign directors as well, and I think this one has the buzz to definitely get into Best Director. And then, like Picture, and a lot of these nominations, the last category is really a free-for-all. I have Blitz because it's a war movie. The Academy loves war movies. But it could be Conclave with Edward Berger. If All Quiet hit its peak before voting, I think that would have gone into director. It didn't. Nickel Boys, from what I'm hearing he's doing, is really interesting, really different. They might recognize him, but it's like a first-time thing, so I don't know if they really want to give him it yet or want to like have him wait a little bit. The Substance, like I said, if they accept it, I can see it possibly getting into some categories. The only one that's definitely a lock and possibly a win is Makeup. But I'm throwing that out there. James Mangold has a good reputation. I said that last category. And Sing Sing is Sing Sing. And it's at 10, obviously. But it's slowly falling off the list, the movie in general. So I just hope, the acting people say is the standout of the movie. So I'm hoping that kind of stays. And for me, it's the two acting that I've had for the whole time are still in my top 5. Best Actress. So this changed quite a bit. They put Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton together in actress. I think they're going to cancel each other out. Carla Sofia Gascon is officially actress, and Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez is supporting. Saoirse Ronan is doing the outrun for lead, and then Blitz for supporting. And we don't know where Lady Gaga is, so I kind of have her. She's the only one I have in both lists for the same role, because I feel like it could happen if people say she is the standout. So I don't know which way it's going to go. It's kind of packed in both categories, so she may be able to squeeze in, but I have her off the list. Unfortunately, I had her at number 1, so now it's a whole new number 1, Mikey Madison, like the standout. And also her number 2 is also very close too. I think Carla Sofia Gascon, I haven't seen the movie yet, but people say she's incredible. She has the pathway to get a win. So these two are kind of the up in the air one. Then you have kind of the legacy people, Angelina Jolie. All Pablo Larraín's movies have gotten nominated for Best Actress. You have Nicole Kidman, Baby Girl, they said is incredible, and it's Nicole Kidman. She got nominated for Being the Ricardos, and that was an amazing movie. So I think the Academy loves her. You have Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I do think this year she is in contention for like Scarlett Johansson in 2019, the double nomination. Then you have Amy Adams, Tilda Swinton, Lady Gaga, if she's in lead, Julianne Moore, and Demi Moore. Like I said, Substance can get in there if they do a really good campaign. They could do it. They could do it. But also Amy Adams, they said Night Bitch. They say it's good, but it's not great. It's not amazing. It's better than the trailer on. But they said she commits 110%. So I can definitely, like the Academy likes Nicole Kidman, they also like Amy Adams. So I can definitely see it. I don't know if this is the one like it's going to be her year, but who knows? Maybe it will be. Best Actor, Adrien Brody jumped to the top of the list. I think he won for The Pianist, and they said he's better. People are saying he's better in this, and he wasn't that. Then I have Ralph Fiennes, Coleman Domingo, Daniel Craig, Timothée Chalamet. Ralph Fiennes, they're saying he's the highlight of Conclave. So depending on how Conclave does, I think he's still like definitely getting it, and I think the same with Daniel Craig for Queer. It might not get a lot of stuff, but they're saying it's his career best, and it might be like an honorary award. You've never been nominated before. Coleman Domingo, they said he's incredible. I do think he's going to get nominated. I don't think he's winning anymore. And then Timothée Chalamet for Complete Unknown. I can kind of see it happening. Musical performance. The people who are playing musical icons have gotten nominated before, have won before. So we'll just see, I think, how much the movie is supported. Then you have Joaquin Phoenix, Sebastian Stan for either The Apprentice or A Different Man, Paul Mescal, and Gabriella Bell. Acting as of right now, it's a little bit more able to take new people. It's kind of like up in the air. I feel like actress, I feel like, is always stacked, and supporting actors always stacked because I feel like there's so much more people like lining up to get into the top 5. Acting, I feel like I haven't seen a lot of the movies still, so I think, and a lot of them haven't premiered yet, so I'm still trying to figure out who is in that like waiting 5, the 6 through 10. So I think Joaquin Phoenix, it seems like Joker, like I said, is not going to be as popular, and he's a little bit not loved right now, so I think that's not helping his campaign. Sebastian Stan probably can get The Apprentice. I think he might be an easy 5 to switch out with Timothée Chalamet, because they're saying he's great in The Apprentice and A Different Man, so we might get it like both for one of those performances, probably being The Apprentice, but it's produced by it's being distributed by Briarcliff. I don't even know what that is. Can they make a dent in a theatrical release? Not let alone a campaign. So we have to wait and see. Paul Mescal for Gladiator. Gladiator, if it's good, can get a lot. I think it could be like prime Ridley Scott. Like Gladiator got a lot the first one, so Gladiator 2, I can see it if it's just as good, getting a lot. If it's like a Napoleon, I still think it's gonna get some, but not as many. So it's kind of like in the 10 for a lot of these categories. And Gabriel Bell, they say the acting, it's probably not gonna happen because they say the acting is kind of like more of an ensemble, like everyone. So I can see it winning like SAG ensemble, and maybe not anyone being recognized individually, but I had to put some more people. I had to put a tenth person. Best Supporting Actress. I'm actually changing it. I had Danielle Deadwyler number 1. I'm putting Zoe Saldana at number 1, then Danielle Deadwyler, Saoirse Ronan, Felicity Jones, and Selena Gomez. The reason I'm switching 1 and 2 is because I still think she could win Danielle Deadwyler, but I think the piano lesson is not going to be as recognized as Amelia Perez. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I think that it's a bigger package to give Amelia Perez to award Zoe Saldana, who also was never nominated for an Oscar. And this is more like, even if Danielle Deadwyler is nominated, it's like a make-up for Till from last year. Saoirse Ronan I've had for a while. Blitz, I feel like, if anything, she's the one that's like coming along with that movie, I feel like, nominations-wise. It's going to be technical. I'd be surprised if she gets snubbed. Because it kind of seems like a Jojo Rabbit thing where Scarlett Johansson got nominated, but the lead was not because he was younger. He can maybe get like a Critics' Choice, like Young Actor Award, stuff like that. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, I think, is getting a lot. It's going to be like Oppenheimer, where I feel like as long as she has one scene, like Emily Blunt, she will get nominated. Selena Gomez, people are saying she's very good, and I just think this is going to be, it already won, all 3 of them won Best Actress so I can see them being all nominated at the Oscars. Then, like I said, I have Lady Gaga. She's more likely it's more easy to get in for supporting, I guess, because she's higher up on my list. Ingenue Ellis Taylor for Nickel Boys. They say she has a small role, so I get to see like how impactful that role is. Same for Isabella Rossellini. They say she doesn't really do much, so that's why I have Ingenue Ellis above her. Possibly Elle Fanning for A Complete Unknown. I don't think that's going to happen. I think acting-wise, from the trailer, it also seems like Timothée Chalamet and Edward Norton are kind of like the headliners, so well to see. And Natasha Lyonne, I don't think it's happening, but like I said, I needed number 10. I took out Toni Collette for jury number 2, but they're saying it's coming out this year, but I will say it's not coming out, so I'm keeping her out right now, but that could be like a wrench in the plan for all this Oscar stuff. If jury number 2, a Clint Eastwood movie, is at like the spectrum of amazing Clint Eastwood, everything could change. So we'll have to wait and see, because it's saying it's premiering at AFI Fest, but I don't know if they have a release date yet, so we'll see. Now that Sam Jackson's out of the race completely, like, the whole thing's wide open. Clarence Macklin winning for Sing Sing. That and Colman Domingo are the ones that I feel like are never going to lead the top 5, but Sing Sing might lead for a lot of other things. But I can easily see Guy Pearce, because they're saying him and Adrian Brody are really good, as long as Felicity, as well as Felicity Jones, but they're saying the 2 of them are really good, Guy Pearce and Adrian Brody. So I can see Guy Pearce moving up to number 1. Denzel Washington, he's been nominated for more obscure things, and I feel like he's just good in everything. He's kind of like Nicole Kidman, and they also said he's kind of the standout in Gladiator 2. Edward Norton, it just seems like a role that he probably can get nominated for. And then number 5, probably, I had Mark Hamill because a lot of people were putting him in there. I just wasn't confident about it, but he filled the space because everyone was there. I put Kieran Culkin back in. I think A Real Pain is starting to get another buzz with all the festivals and it going back to the festivals that kind of as their campaign starts. I think it's definitely going to be nominated for like screenplay. And then the second one that's most likely is for Kieran Culkin. And then the big elusive prize is to get into Best Picture, which it might be able to, depending on that number 10 spot. Then you have Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow for Conclave. They say, I don't think they're happening. They say the standout really is Ralph Fiennes, and it's like his movie. Drew Skarsgård for Queer, I put him in because if they're saying Daniel Craig is that good, the guy acting opposite him must be good as well. And then Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Once I find out The Apprentice is a real contender, I probably will raise him up. Okay, Best Original Screenplay. I have Nora, The Brutalist, Saturday Night, Blitz, and A Real Pain. I had Life of Chuck at number 1, had to take it out. We'll put it in next year. Let's see if people want to see that by next year. Nora seems like the winner. I think its package right now really is picture, actress, and screenplay. And I'd be surprised if it won director, but it probably possibly can get director. It's not the movie that's going to have all the text. I think that's The Brutalist. This is more of the smaller package where it wins like maybe 3 or 4. It's like Dakota where it won an acting, screenplay, picture. I picked up a few. I pretty much took out Seed of Sacred Fig. It's still in my 6 through 10. Blitz, it's just a war movie. I think it's strict. If it wasn't a war movie by Steve McQueen, I don't think I would have it in there. A Real Pain's on the precipice, because there's The Substance, See Us Take a Fig, Challengers, Hard Truths, and A Different Man. And it's funny because before I really knew what The Brutalist was, I had it in 6 through 10, but now I have it at number 2. Saturday Night, they said the script is really good. It's in real time as well, so I think people really like that. And this movie is like a movie about a movie being a TV show, but it's about, the industry. I think Anora's definitely taking this, I feel like, but The Brutalist and Saturday Night, if it gains enough attention, could possibly, maybe Anora doesn't. I think A Real Pain has a good chance of staying in there. That 5 seems pretty solid, but this is where I feel like the Academy awards more of its genre stuff, so maybe The Substance can get in if there's a correct push. Best Adapted Screenplay, there's Conclave, Sing Sing, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys. I'm not really sure if I'm now seeing Amelia Perez being in some people's original. We'll have to see because that might push out A Real Pain. Right now, I'm going to leave it adapted because I think it's based on something. So until it's confirmed, I'm going to leave it here. Conclave, they said the script is incredible. They said they adapted the book very well. Sing Sing, I think people like the story, but like I said, I think it's the acting that's more important. So I think this has a chance to fall off. Amelia Perez, actually, I can see it switching to number 2. Nickel Boys, I just think the creativity of it can get it in. The Piano Lesson, they said it's the best of the August Wilson movies, but it's still, they don't know if it's like Oscar worthy. But Fences got in, so if it's better than Fences and Fences got nominated, Piano Lesson has a chance. Night Bitch, like I said, they said the movie overall is good, not great, but they said the story is interesting, but the real star is Amy Adams, so I think Amy Adams has the best chance of getting something. Complete Unknown, I can see it possibly jumping in there. I don't think Complete Unknown, Room Next Door, and The Wild Robots are really going to happen, or Night Bitch, but I can see, Piano Lesson, Night Bitch possibly. The rest, I'm not really. The Room Next Door, I have that in there because he has surprises. It premiered, it won the Golden Lion at Venice, but people are kind of mixed on the movie. They say it's not his best movie. But, his other movies have gotten surprise acting nominations, score nominations, writing nominations. So I'm putting them kind of there in case there's a shift. But I don't see it necessarily happening. I think they're kind of saying his movies don't translate as well to English, and this is his first English language film. And The Wild Robot, they're saying, is one of the best anime movies of the last decade. So I'm kind of putting that in a few, because, Pixar movies have got nominated for Best Screenplay, got nominated for score, so I have it in some things. We'll see what happens with that. So this is the first month where I have everything, all nominations, including international and documentary. International and documentary, I'm just going to read the ones I have. I can't really talk about much because I don't know a lot of it, so I'm just kind of taking guesses here. But international feature is pretty easy. I think Amelia Perez is winning this, and then See the Sacred Fig, because that is now Germany's submission through Neon. Kneecap, I heard, is great. I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle. All We Imagine Is Light, I think that's what it's called, that was not submitted by India. They submitted Lapita Ladies, I believe I'm saying that right. And then, so I have that 6, and then the Evil Does Not Exist at 7. But I think this 5 is pretty solid. Something might pop up. Who knows? Like I said, I can't really talk about it because I don't really know these movies well. All I know is Amelia Perez is winning because they didn't mess up like last year, and France didn't submit Anatomy of a Fall. I think it was France that submitted it correct movie that has the buzz. Documentary feature: I Have Daughters, Black Box Diaries, Sugarcane, No Other Land, The Remarkable Life of Ibelin, Willa Harper, and Separated. I just heard Daughters is incredible, and I think it's going to win because everyone's saying it's going to win. Like I said, I don't know the international documentary that well, so I can't really comment on those. But I think usually there's like, some like more serious subjects with like a lighthearted subject, and I feel like I have kind of a mix there. I have Will and Harper at the bottom because it's more of that lighthearted educational one, but they don't really like to recognize ones with like big stars in them. And it's like literally about Will Ferrell and his friend, so I don't know if they're gonna go for that, but we'll see. I know I said The Wild Robot is in like some of like number 10s of my categories, but I still think Inside Out 2 is winning. That's why like I don't have The Wild Robot winning like in the top 5 categories, but I have it in like 10 because I think both are very high regarded movies, and I think Inside Out already won a lot of stuff and was nominated for the first one, so I think they might give Wild Robot more stuff, but still award Inside Out 2. But this is a really tied race. They could easily go with the Wild Robot. Right now, I'm just going with Inside Out 2 because I think they're gonna go with that. And like, but if the Wild Robot gets more nominations than I'm thinking, if it actually makes into a lot of the top 5s for like adapted screenplay, score, song, they could be more leaning to actually wanting to let it win. We'll have to wait and see. Moana 2, Flow, Transformers 1, even though it's not doing well at the box office, they're saying it's a great movie. It's an incredible movie, actually. I'm kind of linking this to, like, Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, where it didn't do that well box office-wise, but it got Oscar wins and stuff like that. It was critically acclaimed. So I'm thinking that's going to take the same path, but just not winning. But it's going to get the nomination. And really, 6 through 10, there's always a random one, so it could be any of these. I would say Piece by Piece would be higher, but they don't really like to recognize the Lego movies. And if the original 2014 Lego movie was nominated, I don't see them doing Piece by Piece unless it's fantastic. And they say it's good, but like the Lego movie is like at the very tip top of what people are saying that should have won. So I just can't see this being the Lego movie to award, but definitely maybe nominate. But we'll have to wait and see. Lord of the Rings, I'm not feeling confident really any about that. The more that comes out about it, I think people aren't really. It wasn't what they were expecting. Spellbound, even if it was like the director from Shrek and Alan Menken music, I don't think that's enough to put it into the 5. Maybe a song if it's that popular. Wallace and Gromit and Memoir of a Snail, possibly. They've nominated movies like that. They've nominated Wallace and Gromit movies and movies like Memoir of a Snail. Cinematography, I had Dune Part 2 until I started this video and switched to the Brutalist because Dune already won for the same person, so there was different cinematography, but I think there's different things elsewhere that they can pick up a win than cinematography because they're saying The Brutalist was like incredible. They filmed it like an old school movie, so I can see that happening. Joker, the cinematography looks incredible, so I think if it falls off of everything, it's still going to get nominated for this. Nickel Boys with the POV, I think it's going to happen, but it can easily be, people might find it too gimmicky and not want to recognize it, but I think it's going to go the other way where they are blown away by it. And then Blitz, war movie. I just feel like I can say Blitz and war movie, and you understand why this getting nominated. Amelia Perez, I can see it happening. Conclave, the trailer had good cinematography. Nosferatu, the trailer had good. Gladiator and Maria all had good cinematography in the trailer. The 5 looks pretty locked. The only thing I can see maybe Amelia Perez getting in there. Editing, I have Nora, The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Conclave, Saturday Night. I think Nora's going to pick this one up, but it could be The Brutalist. If a 3.5-hour movie feels every moment is intended to and intentional and it should be there for 3.5 hours, I can see them giving it to it. Nora, they do say this, the third act kind of has a little bit of issues. Not enough to say it's not an amazing movie, but it kind of goes a little too much. So I don't know if that's going to hurt it. Saturday Night, though, I can see being like a 4V Ferrari where it doesn't win like picture or anything, but it still is. It wins editing. But yeah, this kind of seems locked. Like I said, Amelia Perez or Blitz could get in there. I haven't really heard much about the editing with Nickel Boys, but if it's with the POV stuff, I can see it kind of coming into play and maybe being a possible upset. And then Sing Sing the Challengers, I don't really see them happening, but possibly. I have more challengers now than I do queer, and I had that last month. Very opposite. I just don't think Luca Guadagnino's movies are going to do well at the Oscars this year. I think that kind of fell apart. Production design, I do think Dune, it's really Dune Part 2 or The Brutalist. I do think Dune Part 2, like I was saying, had enough different stuff with different world building areas that were enough to do like new production design stuff. But The Brutalist also, I heard the production design is incredible. Blitz, war movie. Gladiator 2, an epic. Wicked, I don't know if you saw the featurette from Wicked. They built a lot of the sets, and the person who built it and the production designer has a good track record with Oscars. Joker, possibly. Beetlejuice, possibly. Saturday Night, they recreated, the studio. Conclave, here. If Here's going to do anything, I feel like it's going to be Here. Pun intended, I guess. Just because it's like the same shot. So like, while like the cinematography is literally the same, so it's not going to get nominated, the production design keeps changing and changing and changing. So they might want to recognize that. Maybe visual effects, but I don't even have it on visual effects because there's that little bit of AI controversy. So right now, but if it's premiering at the AFI Fest, I believe, we'll know then. So we'll have to wait and see. Costume design: Wicked, Doom Part 2, The Brutalist, Blitz, Gladiator 2. Wicked, it's fantasy. They really like. This is where I feel like this is the Cruella. They like to recognize more genre movies. Could Beetlejuice pop in? I think more. It's the main thing is for makeup. Maria, possibly. Joker, I mean, a lot of this stuff like could possibly happen. I don't really see any of the 6 through 10 happening. I mean, before when Joker was like at its hype, I was putting it in there because it's balancing between the musical and the real world, but it just depends on how Joker hits with the Academy. It could get nothing, could get one, it could get a lot. I think I'm leaning towards it's going to get just a few, if anything, and then not much out. It's going to be a very different from 2019 when Joker got nominated a lot of times. I think it was like the most nominated that year, possibly. Hair and makeup, I was thinking Beetlejuice. The makeup is incredible. The first one won. It's just as good. But then I saw the substance. I'm going to rave about the substance throughout this whole video. The makeup was incredible. It was truly incredible, the makeup. So I can easily see that winning. Doom Part 2, I think it's getting nominated. I don't think it's going to win. I don't think there's enough different to make it win. A Different Man, the makeup was insane. The Brutalist, it spans over like decades, so I can see them aging. Like I'm telling you, it's gonna be like Oppenheimer, I think, where even like the makeup got it because they were older in certain scenes. I think they're gonna recognize this. This is gonna be like the most nominated movie of the year, if not like hit close to the records of most nominated. And then like 6 through 10, possibly I see The Apprentice popping in there because it's like a transformation. Nosferatu, a transformation. I don't think Wicked. It's fantasy. I do like fantasy, but it's more like not like transformation, so it's more like the most is like probably her green, and it's not necessarily transformation. So its best chance I think is costumes. Visual effects: Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Mufasa, Lion King, Gladiator 2, Blitz. I think Dune Part 2 was just as grand to warrant number 2. I feel like anything it's like this didn't need to do anything new to get visual effects win. But I think they did new set pieces that still were incredible visual effects that it's still probably going to win. King of the Planet of the Apes could be a possible spoiler, but I think Dune's going to take it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I feel like all of those movies, all the Planet of the Apes movies are always like Bridesmaids, Never the Bride. Mufasa, The Lion King, the first one, the Lion King was nominated, so, and the effects they emote them a little more, so I feel like they're trying to take the criticism they had and trying to creatively add a little more emotion to it, which people might like, and the visual effects might be kind of like recognized just as much. Gladiator 2, it's a lot of money went into this movie, so it better look good. I mean, they put a lot of money into the movie, like for production design, like why I had in there because they built the Coliseum. The visual effects, they pretty much like put Rome, like a lot of its visual effects. So, and Blitz, war movie, and I saw the trailer and the visual effects, I can see getting it. And then like 6 through 10, I really don't think anything is going to possibly pop in there. And if you notice, this is the only time I have Furiosa. I barely wanted to put that in there. I think it's completely DOA, but this is the only thing I have it in, and it's a 10. I really think this isn't getting anything. I think 6 through 10, there could be a spoiler. There could be something new, like Godzilla -1 that pops in later on in the year. But I think right now the 5 seem pretty good. Sound, Doom Part 2, Gladiator 2, Amelia Perez, Conclave, Blitz. I could see Gladiator 2 kind of changing it. I mean, they did do different stuff with the sound. Is it enough? I'm not sure. They won already. Gladiator 2, I feel like could, depending on how good it is, could possibly get to number 1. Amelia Perez, it's a musical. I do like, the sound sometimes gets nominated for musicals. Conclave, I heard the score and the sound are very interesting and good, so like I'm putting in there. I'm not sure what that means for Conclave. It doesn't seem like a very sound-heavy movie, but we'll see. Blitz, war movie. Complete Unknown. Um, it's a movie about Bob Dylan changing his sound, so like it's about sound, so it could easily get in there. The Substance sound was incredible, but I just don't know if it's a big enough movie or a big enough studio to push to get in there. The Brutalist could easily happen, and it could easily just take out Blitz or something, or take out one of the five. And Nickel Boys, depending on the first person, it kind of could play into an aspect where like you are the person, so the sounds is kind of weird. We'll have to wait and see. Nickel Boys, it premiered at New York Film Festival. I had to read a little more what people said, but it could be either like people love it. It could be like either people love it or it's too gimmicky, and I'm curious where it's leaning. I think it's gonna lean, like I said, towards they love it. Best score, they said The Brutalist has this locked. It's winning, no question. Dune Part 2, Saturday Night, Conclave, Amelia Perez. And then there are some possible like surprises here. Challengers, I feel like this is the biggest thing Challengers could be nominated for, so I can see a surprise there, and that's like it's one nomination. And Joker, it won last time, so like maybe. In Blitz, they like war movie scores, so possibly. Room Next Door, his other movie, I think it was Parallel Mothers, got a score nomination, so there have been some of his movies have been a surprise score nomination. In The Wild Robot, like I kind of said, like if they really want to go heavy on it, like I heard the score is good, I heard there's like original music, stuff like that, so we'll see if they want to embrace it. And then finally, Best Original Song, I have a song from Amelia Perez, a song from Moana 2. There were two Diane Warren movies. I think it was Relentless, like a documentary. I think that's coming out next year, so I took it off. And then she also did a song for the 6888, Tyler Perry Netflix movie, and that seems more like that would get nominated over the documentary. So I have that in there. A song from Mufasa the Lion King, possibly a song from Wild Robot. Piece by Piece might get in there. I feel like he's making original music for Elle, and he's been nominated before. I don't think Wicked's doing new music, but if it is, I put that in like the 6 through 10. Joker, they're trying to hide that it's a musical, so that's confusing. I don't think it's going to get nominated, even if there is an original song, because they're kind of shitting on musicals. They're saying this isn't a musical, but it is. But they're also, when they describe it, it is a musical. It's like the definition of a musical, so I don't know. Number 10, one that could be a possible spoiler is the movie The Last Showgirl. Could be spoilers in certain categories. I don't have it in there anywhere except for here. It's a Miley Cyrus song and someone who wrote songs for Barbie. So, could be a surprise. That is all 20 categories for the month of September. October's right around the corner. We'll be doing this again very soon. And by the time you see the October video, probably a lot of it will change. Let's hope not. Let's hope we're betting correctly. But with all these festivals, all the premieres, all that stuff, everything changes on the day. Things come in, things leave, things changing dates. So, can't wait to talk about this madness with you next month, because this is a fun race. This is a very unpredictable race right now, so it's very fun to talk about. So, can't wait to see you next month. Thanks for watching. Cheers.